Listen to Mike Gundy, the head coach at Oak State. Listen to Mike Gundy talking about how much power the NCAA has.
I think we should. I mentioned it the other day. I just thought of the deal with OU. I think it's a good deal. I would like to do it. I'd like to practice against them. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to waste my time on who's going to determine what the rules are anymore, because essentially there's not really enough of them to follow. And I'm not even sure how they have grounds to say you can't do it. Like if somebody just goes and does it, what are they going to do to them?
Mike,
sure. That's interesting. What are you going to do? I dare you. What are you going to do? I think he's not wrong, but I think that screams, hey, we need a new system.
Mm-hmm.
And then listen to what Kirby Smart said.
Everybody's got to take a big pause right now and say deep breath, because of what's going on with basketball right now is crazy. And we don't know everything that's going to come out with April 7th, which might be April 7th. We might be the settlement date where we get a lot more information. But, everybody's on pins and needles because we don't know exactly what's going to come out of this. What I do know is that we're going to continue to recruit people who love football, who are passionate about football, and that don't put money as the number one answer. Like, I've never met a really good player that's all they cared about. So, like, the 105 number, the NIL number, what's the cap number, what is this going to be? There's stuff going on right now, guys, in college football. I mean, there's people reaching out to have a Zoom call and present all the players they represent that are on teams, including our teams. And they want to invite people to the Zoom so they can watch and see who's going in the portal or shopping who's in the portal before the portal. Do you want to get on the Zoom and look at all these players? I'm like, well, what if some of them are mine? I mean, it could be one of the most legendary, moments in all of college sports with what's coming up on this ruling and how people are going to try to manipulate a cap when all we're trying to do is make for competitive balance.
I mean, they're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at Kirby Smart's talking about April 7th, that's when the House settlement's going to come down. Should allegedly be finalized. And so you have to ask yourself, okay, if you've got Mike Gundy and Kirby Smart, two of the bigger names, I think, in college football, talking about skirting regulations, all this is telling you is we need a super league. And why is that? We had exclusive reporting on this show now that everybody's run with, but don't forget where you heard it first, that the Big Ten and the SEC are talking about forming a separate new entity for their college football, where they will have a new governing body to oversee football. Because when you have this House settlement come down, and I think this is a very important point, when you have this House settlement come down, it's not the end of corruption. It's not the end of bagmen. It's just the beginning. The House settlement puts new barriers in place. People are going to always figure out how to get around those barriers. People, what they're talking about with basketball and what Kirby Smart's mentioned there, look at the money that BYU is dumping into AJ DeBanza. Again, is he the only one? No. Why is that? Because it's the Wild Wild West. You need to take football, separate it out into a new entity that has its own rules and its own regulations. And then you need to figure out how you are going to regulate the financial business of playing college basketball, because it is spiraling out of control. And you are not including everybody. There was this big belief, as I told you on the show, there was this big belief that, oh, this will save the game. No, it did not save the game. Because what happens when opportunity knocks? The rich get richer, almost inevitably. And you can look at the United States of America. What was the pandemic? Oh, tragedy. Well, it was an opportunity. In the business,
the coronavirus.
In the business of the United States, who won? The haves. Who lost? The have-nots. Anytime billions of dollars are at stake, the haves will have theirs, and the have-nots will not. And this is no different. If you do not break football off into a new entity that has its own financial parameters, I don't know, much like the NFL, and I'll just continue to say this, man. If you do not do what we have talked about on this show for years, if you do not do what Kyle Whittingham talked about at Big 12 Media Day, you are only asking and you are only courting disaster.
So much change already, and there's more on the horizon. I can tell you that. We're not done. I think it's ultimately going to get to 2 super conferences and their own playoff system and probably break away from the NCAA, have a commissioner and all. An NFL minor league model, I think, is where we're heading in that regard.
He said that a year and 2 months after we first said we're going to go to a minor league model, an
Monty,
NFL feeder
that's
model.
That's not true. They would never do that. That can't happen.
Kyle Whittingham on 365 Sports. I'm telling you now, when you want to come in here in the comments section and you want to get excoriated, I just wanted to say that word again. When you come into the comments section and you're like, oh, bro, Florida State's going to the WAC, I would slow your roll on guessing and, throwing stuff against the dartboard.
Well, Monty, the Pac-12's getting $600 million. You just book it down, rubber stamp it.
You can only understand, and I can only say this so many times. We have not seen the beginning of change in college athletics. The next wave of change is going to be seismic because it will, I think this, and maybe the most accurate way to say this is, the next wave of change will make all this realignment stuff look like nonsense. Because I think the next wave of change in college football eliminates the conferences for football. I think the next wave in change eliminates the have-nots almost universally across the board because 99% of G5s are not going to opt into paying what I've been told by TV industry sources and college administrators who have unsolicited in different conversations told me $500 million is going to be the minimum price tag to play college football.
Oh, and how much easier does the conversation get when the G5 is not included? I mean that's the other part of it. Like you look at this for the power schools and everything just gets a bit easier when you pare down the schools, the number of schools involved. So I don't think it's hard to understand that that's the direction it's going.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very easy to see the future of college football. And I appreciate that you guys come here every day and tell us, hey, this team's going to this conference and this is going. You might be right. But here's the question I would ask you. Do you ultimately see a place where the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, and the SEC exist 10 years from now, 7 years from now, hell, even 5 years from now? Do you believe that's the case? Let's talk about it after this from the Advocates.
Hi, Sarah. Your dad told me about your accident. Can you tell me how it happened?
Still kind of going through it, but I was stopped at a light, and then this car I heard it come up behind me, and bam, and it's kind of like in slow motion.
That's how it goes with the Advocates. The Advocates understand when you've been in an accident, they need to serve you where and how you need to be served at that moment. Because when you've been in an accident, it's one of the worst moments of your life. As somebody who's been in a major car accident, it is terrifying, and you can't figure up from down. You need somebody who can handle the claims process. You need somebody that'll give you clear, risk-free advice. When you've been hit by a semi-truck, when you got hurt at work, when you slipped and fell and hurt yourself in a grocery store on a broken sidewalk, when your neighbor's dog attacks you or your family. You need clear, risk-free advice. You get that at theadvocates.com, where you can chat with an injury attorney live online 24/7, 365, and it won't cost you a dime. The Stadium Guy James, the model of the Super League I saw had 80 teams, 8 divisions, and of 10 teams each. The top 2 from each division make the playoffs. Yeah, I don't necessarily believe that's the case, because if the top 2 from each division make the playoffs, you're shrinking the game. You're not growing the game. Number one. And I think, again, I'll go back to what Urban Meyer said, and I don't know if we still have the bite or not, but Urban Meyer talking, or no, who was it was talking about, Greg Sankey was talking about 70 teams in a model.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Greg Sankey's been very, very, bullish about like, hey, they're trying to be, that people are trying to get on board with the SEC, and they're trying to be us. But I think that Greg can be, people regard him as a villain, but the reality of the situation is someone's got to lead this thing forward. And frankly, Sankey has in a sense voluntarily stepped into that role, and I think he's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Here's Greg Sankey on the Triple Option podcast.
I don't want to dumb down the Southeastern Conference to be part of some Super League notion with 70 teams that some people speculate would happen. They want to be us, and that's on them to figure it out, not on me to bring myself back to earth.
I think that's exactly right. And I know you guys don't like Greg Sankey, or at least most of the people on this show don't like Greg Sankey. And listen, I understand that. But at some point, you got to get on board with the fact that what the guy says goes.
100%.
And I know that, again, I know you don't love it, but you listen to him, and then you listen to Urban Meyer. What did Urban Meyer say last week?
So this is the 4-4-2-2-1-1. 4 teams from the SEC, 4 teams from the Big Ten, 2 from the Big 12, 2 from the ACC, and then 1 independent, 1 from the lower conferences. There's a lot of reasons why I love it. Number one is this now eliminates the selection committee. They are no longer a selection committee. It's not selection, it's access. Number one, and it's a firm number one, there's no longer a selection committee. It is an access. That means you win your conference or in your top 4 teams, you're not selection anymore. The only thing, the committee, it's not selection anymore. It should be a seeding committee. And that's it. Number 2, 6 teams in the Big Ten, in the SEC, are still swinging at the end of the season. And that means that if you see the numbers, 40 to 50 teams on last week of the season, championship week, are still in the hunt, as opposed to 15 to 18. And then number 3 is you don't get penalized for non-conference. Because you are going to see, you've seen Penn State's got a horrific non-conference schedule. I don't blame them. If I'm the head coach at Ohio State in the current model, I'm not playing Texas. It's no.
I'm just telling you, he's describing everything that everybody's talking about. He's just saying it out loud. The SEC and the Big Ten are going to take their chunk of the playoff. And at the first opportunity they get, they are going to create a new entity to manage their own college football. And you're either going to get on board. And what did he say? It's access. We're taking the humans out of it. You win enough games, you're in the college football playoffs. You didn't win enough games, you're out. Yep. And that's exactly what it needs. And why does it need to be that way? And I want you to think through this. Why does it need to be as simple as you won enough games, you're in, you lost too many, you're out?
Because you got to be able to project your finances.
You've got to be able to go to your partners and say, hey, it's as simple as this. This is what you're buying. You're not buying Ward Manual lying about strength of schedule. You're not buying human beings with biases. You're buying football players winning or losing games, period. That's what it's got to be. The NFL is a $7 billion entity, and it's going to be more than that going forward. You think college football is going to leave that money on the table? Come on. I don't buy that for a second.
No.
I don't buy that for a second. Big Blue Horses, who's been a member of the show for 17 months. I'm expecting a long season at Florida. Go Gators, dude.
Yeah, a lot of hype.
Should have fired him.
Yeah, he should not be there.
I think they are going to have a major backslide, in my opinion. A major backslide. Kenneth Maynor. I think there will be consolidation in the G5 among the well-financed schools, and the rest will drop down to FCS or get broke away from the college football playoff level. I think the FBS stays in place for your lower tiers. Because I think anybody who doesn't go to the Super League is going to be in a different tier, in the only tier that remains.
Because you can't forget, and I feel like this never gets brought up, the being a Power 4, like college football playoff level football player, is not most college football players. Like, you guys understand that, right? Like, most college football players, are just going to play at, a state school, and they're just going to, they're there for their education. and they're trying to pay for education with football, and they're never going to play in the NFL, and they're playing football. Yes, because they love to play football, but from a talent perspective and from a physical perspective, they're not the best of the best that are going to play, for a top 14 team. That's just not who most guys are.
I'd agree. Coming up in 15 minutes, massive quarterback news out of the NFL. A shocking NFL draft story. Maybe I'm just, and I'm open to the idea I'm not very smart. I'm open to that idea. The story we're going to talk about coming up in 15 minutes is going to blow your mind about the draft. I can't even imagine it. Johnny Gonzalez, what is the selection process for a Super League? FSU showed that you can go undefeated for one season and defeated the next season. I think it's an NFL model. We have been saying that for 2 years on this show.
Yeah.
High-ranking TV people told us it's an NFL model. It's an NFL model.
And I think that, in alignment with, calling everything following the NFL process, I do definitely think in the Super League model or the new entity model, whatever you want to call it, you have to have divisions that make travel more logistically feasible.
Yes.
and make athletics more profitable by lowering the travel costs. So you're definitely going to have divisions across the country.
But I think anybody that'll be in the Super League, you just got to get on board with. I think you have to charter. You're not flying your football team commercial. Not when we're talking about $500 million, you're not flying your team commercial.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. And most football and basketball travel, men's basketball travel chartered anyway. So I think you have to understand the reason to do a Super League is to make exponentially more money.
Yeah.
And you'd better embrace. My Chicago Bears today talked openly. George McCaskey, now the owner of the Bears, talked openly about courting private money. That's the reality of pro sports going forward. And make no mistake, college football and basketball is professional sports. Look at the money AJ Dubance and other recruits are getting.
Yes.
It's pro sports.
Well, I also think look at the money that women's college basketball is getting. The WNBA, like just from a financial perspective, is in such a bad place because their salaries are so low, and a lot of women's college basketball players are making a ton of money at that level, so they're not going to the league.
Yeah.
Like, that's a problem, dude. So it is professional sports. There's no doubt.
Look at our guy, Noel Ramirez, back from his hiatus. Good to see you, Noel. Chewy Gonzalez, the one thing I don't like is that the SEC and the Big Ten are getting double the ACC and the Big 12.
Yeah, but you might not like it, but they've earned that, dude. They've earned that. Again,
College football playoff going forward in Urban again. And listen, you guys your wives already tell you how good looking I am, which it is what it is. Everybody ain't able, but God made me.
That's bullshit.
My point is, we told you this exact model, and Urban stole it because everybody listens to this show.
Yeah, Pervin stole it at the bar when that girl was sitting, Anyway,
we're working up to 14 teams.
Yeah.
4 from the Big Ten, 4 from the SEC. That's 8. 2 from the Big 12 is 10. 2 from the ACC is 12. Notre Dame is 13. And then 1 from the G5 is... No, it's okay. You can say it.
Does the math?
It's 14.
Oh.
Stay hard.
Oh, see how that works out?
That's the number. And I think we all know that's not enough. But I don't think anybody has an appetite to go to 16. I think it's going in a certain direction. Noel Ramirez, all G5 schools should just combine and make the West and East division. That makes too much sense.
They're going to do something, but I think what everybody unanimously agrees on, and when I say everybody, I don't mean the people that are just in the room making this change. I mean fans, players, the guys in the room, the administrators, whatever. Like, everybody agrees it's about winning and losing, and humans should not decide who gets in and who gets out.
100%. I totally agree with you on that. I can see the AAC taking some of the best Sun Belt schools. What, bro? You just keep trying. Why would they do that? Yeah. Why would they do that? Johnny Gonzalez, new kickoffs, OT rules, tush push coming to up next. College football Saturday. It absolutely could be a proving ground. Rock and Rant, super chats and memberships, the only thing not getting tariffed today. It's exactly right. I was talking to Donnie
We're not
before the
talking
show.
politics, but we were talking to Donnie, and that 10% across the board tariff is a real problem. Now, needs to be said, Porsche and Audi bringing their production over to the United States. Nobody's complaining about that, Monty.
Give me an Audi wagon. TJ Beck, Monty is not the looks the wives talk about. It's the girth.
Biologics.
And when you wear a size 15 shoe, they all comment about the size of your boat.
Can you measure it?
All right. Again, we are raising money for the Advocates and Childhood Hunger today. The Advocates are partnered with the Murray Children's Pantry. And what that means is that every dollar you donate to the Advocates on Venmo goes to feed hungry kids in our communities. And you look at what, these pantries do. It's amazing the humility and the pain and the embarrassment that parents feel walking into a pantry, getting a box of food to the point where they break down emotionally not because they're just, so humiliated, but because they don't have to go home and tell their kids they don't have dinner tonight. Let that sink in. Imagine telling your kids are like, hey, I'm hungry. What do we have to eat? We don't have anything to eat. Imagine that conversation. It happens every day in this country. And I know most of us, and the creek don't rise, but most of us will never have that conversation. That's why we have to help. Because there are people in our communities right now, when the numbers are staggering, like 1 in 6 kids in America is hungry today. They don't know where they're going to get food. 1 in 6 kids is hungry. We can do something about that. Let's help. The Advocates are on the ground working to help our families and our communities. Make a donation on Venmo. Chewy Gonzalez already won a $50 Amazon gift card today. We were trying to raise $500. We've gone way past that now. We're at $760. We're trying to get to $1,000. $860, $960. We are a mere, we're at $660. So we are a mere $760, $860, $960, $340 away.
Do it.
We need $340. We will give away another Amazon gift card coming up in about an hour and 40 minutes. We will give away another Amazon gift card. Get on Venmo, make a donation, take a screenshot and send it to Jake on Instagram. SLC Jake on Instagram. Find Jake on Instagram. You can also find him on Twitter, but Instagram's easier. Find Jake, SLC Jake, right here. SLC Jake on Instagram. Send him screenshots of your donations on Venmo to Advocates donations. $340 is the ask. Inside of the next hour and 40 minutes. That's what we're asking you for to feed childhood hunger. Our newest member, Cougar Track. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Appreciate you. Johnny Gonzalez, meet me every day out front lawn on Tariff Terrace. See, I didn't even stumble.
It's well done, dude.
Used to Ruiz going to the Dodgers from the A's. You love your Dodgers.
How can you blame them? I mean,
they do. They do kind of trade for everybody.
They trade for everybody? They pay for everybody. Like, I can't blame you for loving the Dodgers. I can't blame you for being about it, dude. I mean, if you're not a Dodger fan now, then when will you be a Dodger
fan? And what
fan?
is the truth of the matter? The truth of the matter is, I wish the Cubs were as aggressive as the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I do. All right. $25 donation.
Fat Jesus,
25 more. I love it. Monty kids looking for transformational food deals, not transactions.
Okay. You have to.
Pac-12 reference.
Got to pay it off, dude. Come on, Monty. Got to pay it off at the clip, dude. This is a poll from Teresa Gould's interview. This is well done. This is well done, sir.
The one thing I keep saying to potential partners is, given where we are as a league, I don't want these partnerships to be transactional partnerships. I don't want this to be a media rights partner writing us a check and televising a bunch of games. We need these partnerships to be transformational.
See, that's well done.
So well done.
That is
dude.
that is so
That's
well
what
done.
I'm talking about, bro. Nice job.
Okay, so you have James begging for books for pedos. Roller, I see this one. I think Gabe has the lead right now. I'll be honest with you.
Hey, 2 holes.
Monster white top Monty. Hello. White top monsters for Monty. That's a phenomenal reference.
That's a great poll, dude.
I think Lopes fan Gabe, but that's a close second.
I think it's Gabe and Fat Jesus in the lead for
that's
round
a close
2.
second.
Those
so,
are very close.
If we are 306,
340 away.
If we're 340 away, right? And you do some simple math, which I am not capable of.
Yeah.
We are now $315 away from our goal. $315. Let's make it happen. Hook it up. You can always make that donation on Venmo right here. Send it directly to the advocates in the memo box. Just mention Monty. If you want to say Monty Kids, that'd be great. And then hit your memo.
Yeah.
The best wins win. NFL coming up in 7 minutes on the Monty Show. Ed Enriquez. Hello, Ed. Hey, fellas, y'all changed times. Yes, we did. Welcome to the afternoon edition of the Monty Show.
Yes.
Amazing how much more awake we are. Which always helps. Cougar Tracks. The Dodgers are the best team money can buy, and there is nothing wrong with that. We talked about this with the Ohio State.
Can't blame them, dude.
Right? She don't want no prostitution in her conference memberships. I've heard that. I've heard that. Let me just ask real quick before we get to the NFL. Let me just ask real quick. Does anybody in this comment section on this show today, no matter where you're listening to the show, is there anybody who thinks a Super League is bad for college football? Because one of the things that I am really passionate about is you making donations to the advocates on Venmo. But one of the things I'm really passionate about is big games and big matchups. And one of the things that I really love about a Super League is it gives you big matchups. There's no more, well, I don't want to play a big non-conference game. There's no more, because right now we're not getting Ohio State and Georgia. We're not getting Ohio State and Texas, Michigan, and those days are coming to an end.
Only in the CFP.
Yeah, because there's no reason, there's no incentive to play a difficult out-of-conference schedule right now, right? So for me, and in my opinion, I love the Super League for a lot of reasons. Take the humans out of it. Word manual is a disgrace.
100%.
Should never have been involved in the process. Now I don't have to worry about that. We have a Super League. You either won enough games or you didn't. Give me the exact NFL playoff model, wild cards and all.
Yeah.
Play the college football championship game on Saturday. Play the Super Bowl on Sunday. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Play it. Eliminate the Pro Bowl. Have one weekend be college football championship weekend. The next weekend be Super Bowl weekend. I don't even care. I want big games, and I want play on the field to determine who's in and who's out.
And I just think it takes away this whole conversation about scheduling as well, because this is the other piece of it. If you think about it, let's say that, we get a Super League, whatever they wind up calling it, and you've got this pot of teams that have bought into the Super League. Call it $500 million, right?
Yeah.
And all these teams have bought in, and we know it's X amount of teams. Call it 76 teams. I believe that's the number Greg Sankey using that bite we always play. Like, think about it. If you have a set number of teams, what does that allow you to do? Well, of course, and obviously, it allows you to punch 70 teams into a computer formula, make the whole schedule, and then do what the NFL does, which is NFL schedule release day. We know all the schedules for the Super League. We would then, I have to think, and again, just speculating here, but I have to think if there's a Super League and we get schedule release day for the Super League in college football, you for sure are going to get alignment with the G5 and their schedule release, and those two are going to work together to push all of college football forward.
That's right.
Like, there could be a ton of synergy with this. And it doesn't, in my opinion, need to be a thing where it's all negative. And because I still feel like there are a lot of people in this place where they're like, oh, the Super League's a terrible thing and it's super negative and F Greg Sankey and the SEC and the Big Ten are just trying to take over. But the reality is you can't run from the fact that the SEC and the Big Ten are the ones paying the biggest price because they're the ones that should be making the most money far and away. and they're not able to do that yet because they're not able to create a schedule that allows them to play as many big games as possible.
Yep.
That's the problem right now.
Yep. Ship on Twitter says, I just found your show. I'm a huge Texas Tech fan. As you like to say, throw them tortillas, boys.
Dude.
Yes, I'm on a super league because everything's bigger in Texas.
Well,
the opportunity to beat Sark and the Horns, nothing like it. See, but I love that. And I've talked about this with Texas Tech fans in the past, right? I've told you my opinion is that one of the things that is so unique about Texas Tech is their fans aren't running from Sark and the Longhorns. Their fans want Sark and the Longhorns.
Yeah, they're running out.
Joey just can't deliver that win up into now. Maybe this year that changes. I doubt it. But I think Texas Tech would love to have a rivalry with Texas. Would love. How many of us want those big rivalries back? How many of us want? And for me, I want Notre Dame and Michigan as often as possible. I need those games. I need Notre Dame and Miami. I need convicts versus Catholics. I need the games that brought me up as a child into the game of college football.
OU in Texas.
I need that game every year. I need Bedlam. I need the wagon wheel. I need BYU in Utah. I need USC and UCLA, USC and Notre Dame. I need Oregon State. That's what makes college football great. But we're losing that because losing those games means too much unless you're in the same conference. So I love Tech Fan, but I love that you're watching on Twitter. Come on over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, give us a like.
Get fired if he doesn't compete to win the conference.
I would agree. Yeah, I miss OU Nebraska. That's exactly right.
Hell yeah, you do.
I miss Trev Alberts and Tommy Frazier.
Yeah.
I miss Barry Switzer and all those guys.
That's really,
I miss that.
It's really the shame when we talk about rivalries. That's why the whole Michigan thing pisses me off so much. That's why the Penn State thing pisses me off so much because these are iconic brands. Like Penn State and Michigan and to a lesser extent Ohio State, like the iconic brands in college football are things that we cozy up to on the holidays. We know they are built into the best moments of the year for us. If you think about it, like the holidays, like Thanksgiving, Christmas,
But just think about what did you watch? Like Christmas Day is really interesting right now.
Yeah.
Anybody notice that there's a quartet of NFL games going to happen on Christmas Day?
Now a triple header that they're rolling out for Christmas Day.
Yeah, triple header. Excuse me.
I thought Christmas Day was an NBA affair.
Yeah, it used to be.
I thought. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember being a young 20-something watching Kobe and Bron go back and forth, and Kobe was wearing the Grinches, and Bron was wearing the mint LeBron 14s, I believe it was. And LeBron got that back off the backboard alley-oop as a Miami Heat from D Wade in the Staples Center. Like, that's what I grew up with Christmas Day being.
Yeah.
Not anymore, dude. Not anymore.
I agree. 1 hour from now, we'll hear from Jim Harbaugh, who will be commenting on Matt Weiss. Wait until that conversation happens. But a shocking turn of events could be happening in the NFL draft. You won't believe it. We'll tell you what it is next after this from Prize Picks.
Yo, you think Dallas' Power 4 gonna drop 30 tomorrow?
Why you tripping?
Did you see his mom made a post about going to the game?
What? Hold up. His mama gonna be there?
He's been averaging like 34 points a game when she's there.
At least 40 when she be on that Jumbotron.
He don't like to let his mama down.
Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Cash in on your sports fandom with Prize Picks.
Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy partner of the Monty Show. Join the tens of millions of us in the community at Prize Picks. Love that app last night. You know why I love that app? Because I flex play. That's why I love that app. When you look at Prize Picks, and you quickly figure out that, yeah, Jamison Tyone got the win today, 10-2 over the Athletics. Yeah, I won on Jamison Tyone today. I'm a psycho taking Jamison Tyone. I had 5.5 strikeouts. My guy got me 7 strikeouts. I would also like to point out Seiya Suzuki, 1.5 total bases today. Jack Dizzle.
Yeah.
He goes yard. Auto win. And then because, and I want you guys to understand, I am not only good looking, but I am also brilliant. So the idea today that I had bread on the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs in the same day, and the fact that my guy, Lars Nootbaar.
I'm sorry, Lars Nootbaar? Who the hell is Lars Nootbaar,
Yeah,
dude?
he's hitting 421 with 2 bombs on the season, so I took him for 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. My guy came through with 2 hits and a run. Boom! 3 for 3. Your guy won $70 on Prize Picks. This is after we were 2 for 2 last night on Prize Picks. Come on. You got to take my advice. I win 3 picks on a flex play. Major League Baseball, I think it's stealing candy from a baby at Prize Picks. I think it is the easiest one to win. I think the Final Four coming up, and let me refresh your memories about my awesomeness. I should probably stop. Here's what I have on the Final Four for Prize Picks. Cooper Flag, more than 31.5.
Pooper for Cooper.
Yes, 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. LJ Cryer, my guy down in Harris County. I'm telling you, LJ Cryer is going to come back in a big way. 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists more. And then Johnny Broom, how do you not? How do you not take Johnny Broom for 12 rebounds on a demon?
Have to.
I'm here for it. I'll be in Chicago watching the Final Four. Cannot wait. I cannot wait. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5. They'll give you 50 more instantly. The best daily fantasy promo I've ever seen. Hook it up. Prize Picks. Download the app. How'd you do on Prize Picks last night?
Did good. 1, 2, or 3. My extreme demon with Aaron Judge did not work out, but that's all right.
Oh, those torpedo bats
Still
aren't a
won.
guarantee. Are you sure?
Yeah, torpedo bats. I love how now, just really quick, I love how it's all over TikTok now. People are pulling out like old Marucci's and DeMarini torpedo bats that are like metal bats from back in the day. Like, this is not a new thing. Stop saying it is. It's not.